The missing carrots.
Right in the middle of Sunny Patch Meadow, something mysterious happened during the night, and no one knows what it was yet. Could you guess what happened?
Wait a second. Where did all the carrots go?
Every single carrot in Sunny Patch Meadow had completely vanished, gone without a single bite or crumb left behind. It was as if they had all disappeared into thin air, leaving the garden empty, the soil bare, and the animals scratching their heads in confusion.
Oh no. Granny Hen's going to be so upset. She's been planning her famous carrot pie all week, and now there's not a single carrot left. What will she say when she finds out?
Now it was up to Benny the bunny to solve the mystery. With his twitchy nose and clever thinking, he was ready to hop into action and find out what really happened to the missing carrots.
All right, Benny said, puffing out his chest. Time to investigate.
And just like that, the garden detective was on the case. Benny the bunny, with his ears perked high and eyes sharp as ever, began his adventure through Sunny Patch Meadow, ready to sniff out clues and crack the case of the missing carrots.
First stop, Granny Hen's coop.
Benny arrived at Granny Hen's coop where the morning sun was already warming the soft golden straw. Feathers fluttered in the breeze, and the gentle clucking of hens filled the air. Granny Hen was out front, pecking at the ground, her apron tied tight and her beady eyes full of curiosity. "Granny Hen, are you home?" Benny called out, his voice gentle but eager. He peeked inside the cozy coop, his long ears twitching. Somewhere inside, he heard a soft cluck and the shuffling of feathers. Granny Hen was definitely home. But something wasn't right. The coop was unusually quiet, and Granny Hen wasn't her cheerful, clucky self. Her feathers were ruffled, and she looked flustered as she paced in circles, mumbling to herself. Benny's ears twitched. He could feel it in his fur. Something was definitely wrong. Granny Hen never leaves without her cane, and yet, there it was, leaning against the coop wall right where she always kept it. Benny's eyes widened. If her cane was still here, then where had she gone? His bunny heart thumped faster. This mystery was getting curiouser by the minute. He stepped inside, careful not to disturb anything. The straw crunched softly beneath his paws as dust danced in the sunlight. Everything looked just as Granny Hen had left it, her teacup on the table, her knitting in the basket, and her favorite rocking chair gently swaying, even though there was no breeze. Benny gulped. Something strange was definitely going on. She must have gone somewhere, Benny whispered, eyes scanning the room. But why take the carrot basket? He hopped closer and spotted it. Granny Hen's big woven basket, the one she always used for gathering carrots, was missing from its usual hook. Benny scratched his head. Granny Hen didn't even like raw carrots. So where could she have gone with a basket full of them? Then Benny spotted something in the dirt outside the coop. Tiny footprints, not chicken prints, not bunny prints. These were small, round, and oddly shaped. Benny crouched low, inspecting the trail. The prints led away from the coop, winding through the garden path and disappearing into the tall grass. His nose twitched with excitement. "A clue," he whispered. Granny Hen didn't go alone. Someone, or something, was with her. "Tiny feet, and they're headed straight for the woods," Benny exclaimed, his ears standing tall. He looked toward the dark line of trees at the edge of Sunny Patch Meadow. The woods were quiet, almost too quiet. Benny gulped but didn't hesitate. "If that's where the trail leads, then that's where I'm going," he said bravely. With one last glance at the empty coop, Benny tightened his red scarf, took a deep breath, and hopped after the mysterious footprints, ready for whatever waited in the shadows of the trees. Benny followed the tiny trail into the whispering woods, where the trees murmured secrets overhead, and the leaves rustled like they were trying to warn him. Shadows danced between the trunks, and beams of sunlight peeked through the branches like spotlights on a mysterious stage. Every hop felt a little quieter here. The chirping of birds had faded, replaced by the soft creak of branches and the distant sound of giggling. Benny froze, his ears twitching. Someone or something was definitely up ahead. "These tracks are fresh," Benny whispered, crouching low to the forest floor. "Whoever took the carrots came this way." He studied the trail closely. Little round footprints pressed into the soft dirt, as if made just moments ago. A broken twig here, a rustled bush there. The clues were everywhere. Benny's nose twitched with determination. "I'm getting closer," he said, eyes narrowing. "I can feel it in my whiskers." And with that, he crept forward, deeper into the woods, following the trail into the unknown. And just beyond the bend, a familiar shell moved slowly along the path. Benny's eyes lit up. "Tilly?" he called softly. Sure enough, it was Tilly the tortoise, inching her way through the woods with her flowery bonnet slightly askew and a puzzled look on her face. She turned her head slowly and blinked. "Oh, hello, Benny. Fancy seeing you out here. Did you lose something too?" Benny's heart skipped. "Wait, you too?" Tilly nodded. "My favorite sunflower seeds are gone, and I saw someone sneaking this way with a basket." Benny's ears perked up. Now he wasn't just following a mystery. He had a partner on the case.
Tilly! Oh, good morning, Benny dear. What's the rush? Someone took all the carrots, and I think Granny Hen is missing too.
Oh my! I did see someone sneaking around the coop last night.
Did you see who it was?
"I didn't see their face," Tilly said, her voice low and thoughtful. "But they had a long, bushy tail." Benny's eyes widened. "A bushy tail? That sounds like Flick the Fox." Tilly nodded slowly. "Could be. Whoever it was, they were quick. Too quick for me to catch up. And they were carrying something big. Maybe a basket full of carrots?" Benny's nose twitched. "That's it. We've got a real suspect now." He turned to Tilly with a determined grin. "Come on, partner. Let's find Flick and solve this carrot caper once and for all."
A bushy tail? That sounds like Flick.
Flick the Fox was clever and quick, but could he really be a carrot thief? Benny narrowed his eyes, thinking hard. Flick was known for his tricky games and sneaky hiding spots, but stealing from Granny Hen? That didn't sound like him. Or did it? Tilly adjusted her bonnet. "He does love a good riddle," she said. "Maybe he's playing one of his pranks again." Benny nodded slowly. Only one way to find out. Let's follow the trail and keep our eyes peeled. If Flick is behind this, he won't be easy to catch.
I have to find him.
And so, Benny bounded deeper into the woods, searching for Flick. Tilly followed close behind, her little feet shuffling through the leaves as the trees grew taller and the shadows stretched longer. Birds watched from above, and tiny critters peeked out from behind mossy logs as the two friends pressed on. The trail of footprints was fading, but Benny's nose was sharp, and his heart was set on solving the mystery. Somewhere ahead, hidden among the trees, was Flick the Fox. And maybe, just maybe, the missing carrots too.
Flick, are you out here?
Suddenly, something rustled behind the trees. Benny froze mid-hop, ears standing tall. Tilly stopped too, holding her breath. The bushes trembled, and a low giggle floated through the air, quick and sneaky. "Did you hear that?" Benny whispered. Before Tilly could answer, a flash of orange darted between the trunks. A long, bushy tail swished behind a tree and disappeared with a rustle. "It's him!" Benny gasped. Flick! Without a second thought, he dashed toward the sound, calling, Flick! Wait, we just want to talk! But the woods were full of secrets, and the chase had only just begun.
Gotcha!
Benny darted through the trees, ears flying, tail bouncing, hot on the trail of the mystery fox. Branches swished past as he zigzagged through the underbrush, his heart pounding with excitement. Every leap brought him closer to the flicker of orange ahead, just out of reach. Flick! He shouted. Stop! We need to talk! But the fox was fast, clever fast. Just when Benny thought he was close enough to grab his tail, Flick vanished behind a tree with a playful whoosh of leaves. Tilly puffed along behind, calling out, Wait for me. My legs weren't made for speed. Benny skidded to a stop at a clearing. It was quiet. Too quiet. He looked around slowly. Where did he go?
Flick, stop right there.
At last, he burst into a clearing. And there was Flick. Not stealing, but sketching. The sly fox sat cross-legged on a rock, surrounded by open sketchbooks and colorful pencils. His bushy tail flicked lazily as he focused on his drawing. Right in front of him was a picture of carrots. Big, bold, beautiful carrots, drawn in bright orange and green. Benny blinked in surprise. Flick? Flick looked up, startled but smiling. Oh, hey, Benny, didn't hear you coming. Benny tilted his head. You're drawing? Flick chuckled. Of course. I saw Granny Hen heading into the woods with a basket full of carrots and thought they'd make the perfect model. I asked if I could sketch them, and she said yes. She's over by the stream having tea. Benny's mouth dropped open. Wait, so you didn't steal the carrots? Flick grinned. Nope, just borrowing their beauty for my art. Tilly finally shuffled into the clearing, huffing and puffing. So, no carrot caper? Flick shook his head. Just a carrot canvas.
Whoa, Benny? You scared the fur off me?
You've been sneaking around the coop, haven't you?
Of course I have. I'm investigating the carrot case too.
Flick had been tracking the same footprints and had spotted something strange. I thought I was being followed, Flick said, putting down his pencil. So I started watching the trail closely, and that's when I saw two sets of prints, one round and tiny, the other bigger and clawed. Benny's ears perked up. Clawed? Flick nodded. Yep, they didn't belong to me, or you, or even Granny Hen, and they didn't come from the meadow either. These prints were deeper, like whoever made them was dragging something heavy. Tilly gasped. You mean, there might really be a thief? Flick's eyes narrowed as he rolled up his sketch pad. Looks like it, and they're not just after carrots, they're up to something bigger. Benny stood tall, his nose twitching. Then we need to find out who, and fast. The real mystery has only just begun.
That's not a paw print. That's a wagon wheel.
Benny and Flick followed the wagon marks through the mossy forest, where roots twisted like ropes across the ground, and the trees grew so close their branches whispered secrets to one another. The tracks were faint but steady, two narrow lines pressed into the dirt with deep, clawed footprints on either side. Something heavy had been pulled this way, and not too long ago. Careful, Flick whispered, stepping over a gnarled root. Whoever's hauling this wagon isn't far ahead. Benny nodded, his eyes scanning the shadows. The forest felt thicker here, darker, like it was holding its breath. Suddenly, Tilly called softly from behind, Look, there's something up ahead. The three friends crouched low behind a fallen log. Through the trees, just beyond a bend in the trail, they saw a shadowy figure moving slowly, dragging a small wooden wagon piled high with something orange.
It turns off here, straight toward that hill.
The tracks vanished into a burrow, too small for a wagon, but just right for a mole. Benny crouched low, peering at the hole nestled between two mossy stones. The dirt around it was freshly dug, and a few wisps of orange, carrot tops, peeked from inside. Flick raised an eyebrow. No way a wagon fit through there. Tilly nodded, adjusting her bonnet, but a mole could carry carrots piece by piece and come back for more. Benny's eyes lit up. Of course, Mimi the mole. Flick chuckled softly. She is known for digging tunnels everywhere, and she does have a habit of borrowing things without asking. Tilly frowned. But why would Mimi take all the carrots and not tell anyone? Benny stood up, determination in his eyes. There's only one way to find out. He tapped the ground gently. Mimi, are you down there? He called. For a moment, silence. Then came a faint rustling and the sound of someone shuffling closer from the shadows of the burrow.
Huh. You think it's Mimi?
Let's find out.
Inside the burrow, blinking lights and whirring gears greeted them. Benny, Flick, and Tilly carefully stepped into the tunnel, their eyes widening at the sight before them. The walls of Mimi the mole's underground hideout were lined with glowing lanterns made from old jars, and strange contraptions spun and clicked in every corner. In the middle of it all stood Mimi, wearing oversized goggles and covered in specks of dirt and carrot bits. She looked up with a surprised squeak. "Oh, you found me." "Mimi?" Benny asked, blinking. "What is all this?" Mimi grinned proudly. "It's my newest invention, a carrot-powered digging machine. I was going to surprise everyone at the Sunny Patch Festival, but I needed lots of carrots to test it." Flick tilted his head. "So you did take them?" "I borrowed them," Mimi said quickly. "Granny Hen said I could have a few, but I may have gotten a tiny bit carried away." Tilly sighed with relief. "Well, at least they weren't stolen for something bad." Benny chuckled. "You had the whole meadow in a mystery spin." Mimi pushed up her goggles and smiled sheepishly. "Guess next time, I'll leave a note." The friends laughed, and Benny crossed carrot thief off his list. Mystery solved, or so they thought.
Whoa, what is this place?
Halt! Who's in my lab?
Intruders? In my lab? Oh no, no, no.
Mimi, it's just us. We followed the carrot trail.
We thought you took them. You've got carrots everywhere down here.
I didn't take them. Granny Hen gave them to me for the invention.
Mimi wasn't hiding the carrots. She was powering her newest invention, Benny exclaimed, stepping forward confidently. Professor Whiskers blinked behind his glowing goggles. "You mean, you're not here to shut down the project?" "Of course not," Tilly chimed in, adjusting her bonnet. "We were just worried when all the carrots disappeared without a word." Mimi twirled a wrench in her paw and smiled sheepishly. "I wanted it to be a surprise. This is the Carrot Crunch Converter 3000. It turns carrot energy into digging power so we can build underground tunnels faster for emergency shelters, delivery routes, or even secret garden tours." Benny's eyes sparkled. "That's amazing," Flick smirked, "and way more fun than just eating carrots." Professor Whiskers grunted, then gave a small smile. "Well, now that the mystery's solved, perhaps you'd like a tour of the lab?" The friends looked at one another and nodded eagerly. Because in Sunny Patch Meadow, every mystery leads to a new discovery. And this one had just begun to hum with possibility.
Granny gave you all the carrots?
She wanted to surprise the village with fresh juice at the festival.
Oh, now that makes sense.
With the carrot mystery solved, only one question remained. "Who's going to tell Granny Hen?" Benny asked, eyes wide. The burrow went silent. Tilly shifted uncomfortably. She did plan to make 3 pies. Flick chuckled nervously. And she's probably sharpening her pie slicer right now. Mimi's ears drooped. Maybe I should go tell her. I mean, I did borrow most of her carrots. Professor Whiskers stepped forward, clearing his throat. Nonsense. We'll tell her together, and perhaps we can make it up to her with something even better. Benny's eyes lit up. Like a surprise carrot-powered pie warmer, everyone grinned. Because in Sunny Patch Meadow, even when things go a little sideways, teamwork and a little imagination always makes things right again.
But where's Granny Hen?
She said she'd meet me at sunrise to test the juicer.
If she never made it, maybe she got stuck somewhere.
The trail led them back to the garden, and a tiny, muffled voice behind the shed. Hello? Is anyone out there? I'm stuck. Benny's ears perked up. Did you hear that? Flick crept forward, tail twitching, as Tilly peeked around the corner. There, wedged between a stack of flower pots and an old watering can, was none other than... Granny Hen! Benny gasped. She was covered in leaves, her bonnet tilted sideways, and her feathers a little fluffed. About time someone came looking. I followed that sneaky mole to see what she was up to and got locked in when the wind blew the door shut. Tilly helped her up gently. Oh, Granny, we thought you had vanished. Granny Hen dusted herself off. Vanished? I was investigating, but next time I'm bringing a flashlight and my cane. They all laughed, the mystery now fully solved, from carrots to curious moles to unexpected shed adventures. Sunny Patch Meadow was safe once again, and just in time for pie.
Is anyone out there? I've locked myself in.
Granny!
Oh, thank goodness. I've been trapped in here since yesterday.
Later that afternoon, Sunny Patch Meadow sparkled with laughter, music, and the sweet scent of fresh carrot juice drifting on the breeze. Banners flapped in the wind, critters danced in the grass, and long picnic tables overflowed with treats. Carrot cupcakes, veggie rolls, and yes, 3 whole pies baked by a very proud Granny Hen. Mimi showed off her Carrot Crunch Converter 3000, giving rides in her little digging cart while Professor Whiskers handed out tiny gears as souvenirs. Benny, Flick, and Tilly sat together under the big oak tree, watching the meadow glow with joy. We solved a mystery, Benny said with a grin. We made a new invention, added Mimi, rolling by in her machine. And, Tilly said with a smile, lifting her cup of carrot juice, we got pie. They all laughed, clinked their cups, and took a big, happy sip. Because in Sunny Patch Meadow, every twist and turn leads to friendship, fun, and sometimes the most unexpected adventures.
Tilly, you made it. Wouldn't miss it for the world, dear.
All right, mystery solvers. Time for a toast.
Mimi's invention was the star of the festival, churning out bottles of bubbly carrot fizz all day long. Critters lined up with wide eyes and wiggling whiskers as the Carrot Crunch Converter 3000 hissed, whirred, and popped out fizzy drinks with a cheerful ping. The bright orange bubbles tickled noses and made even the grumpiest hedgehogs giggle. Step right up, Mimi called proudly, wearing shiny goggles and a juice-splattered apron. 1 bottle of carrot fizz, extra sparkle. Professor Whiskers stood beside her with a clipboard, mumbling, Version 3.01 is a clear success. Benny sipped his second bottle with a happy sigh. Best mystery ever, he said, his nose twitching from the bubbles. And best invention, added Flick, balancing his fizz on his tail. Tilly smiled and raised her glass. To friends, fun, and fizzy carrots. And with that, the festival carried on into the golden evening, full of music, dancing, and the warm, fizzy joy of a mystery well solved.
It worked, and no explosions this time.
You clever little critters. This is the best festival ever.
Mystery solved, carrots saved, and the best juice ever.
And so, with full bellies, tired paws, and happy hearts, the animals of Sunny Patch returned home. The sun dipped low, painting the meadow in shades of gold and pink as lanterns flickered on and fireflies blinked in the tall grass. Laughter faded to soft yawns, and little feet shuffled sleepily along the winding paths. Benny gave a final wave, his red scarf fluttering in the breeze. "Good night, everyone." Tilly tucked her bonnet tight and whispered, "What a day." Granny Hen waddled slowly, humming a pie song under her breath, while Flick twirled his tail like a ribbon in the wind. Behind them, the Carrot Crunch converter gave one last cheerful ping and let out a tiny puff of steam. And somewhere in the sky above Sunny Patch Meadow, the stars began to twinkle, just in time to watch a perfect day come to a peaceful, sparkly end.
Night, everyone!
Back in his burrow, Benny tucked away his clues and hung up his scarf. He placed his magnifying glass gently in its special drawer, set his muddy paw prints notebook on the shelf, and gave a little nod to his Top Bunny Detective badge hanging on the wall. Then, with a sleepy yawn, he fluffed his pillow, curled up in his cozy bed of hay, and smiled. The carrots were safe. Granny Hen was happy. Mimi's invention was a hit. And tomorrow? Well, who knew what new adventure Sunny Patch Meadow would bring? With that thought, Benny closed his eyes, and the soft sounds of the meadow sang him to sleep. Crickets chirping, leaves rustling, and far off in the distance, one last ping from the Carrot Crunch converter. Good night, Sunny Patch.
Another mystery solved.
Outside, the moon rose high, watching over the peaceful patch below.
Sweet dreams, my little sprouts.
And in the burrows, branches, and nests of the meadow, not a creature stirred. And all was well in Sunny Patch until the next mystery. For now, the meadow slept peacefully under the stars, with dreams of fizzy carrot bubbles, dancing fireflies, and one clever bunny detective ready for anything. But somewhere, deep beneath the roots, a faint rumble echoed. A shadow moved in the moonlight, and a single muddy paw print appeared where no one had walked before. The next adventure was already stirring, because in Sunny Patch Meadow, there's always another mystery waiting to be solved.
Thanks for joining the adventure. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and dream big. See you in the next Tiny Tale.